Alright friends, a very happy good evening to one and all. Once again we are back at Ahead Academy Data Analytics Bootcamp, and we are today at day 15, that is for exception handling in Python. Alright, fine. Hoping you all are fine as always, learning, studying, working back at home. Anyways, a very quick recap as we always start. A very quick recap of what we have learned yesterday. Yesterday in Python we discussed about the different access specifiers, that is public, private and protected. Yes, I am yet to give you certain assignments which is pending from our end, and we shall fulfill or process that promise very soon. Alright, fine. For any reason, if you have missed any of our earlier sessions, you can watch them on our channel. Make sure that you keep yourself updated with all these recently covered topics to master data science, analytics and Python. Alright, fine. Public, private and protected were the access specifiers in object-oriented programming. If a data member is public, alright, one moment please. If a data member is public, that means it can be accessed from within the class, outside the class, derived classes and anywhere in the scope or outside the scope of the program, right? But sometimes it happens that a particular class does not want its properties and its methods to be accessed by everyone else outside. So in that case, class declare the property as protected. That means only those classes who are derived from me can access them. Otherwise, the classes who are not derived from me will not be able to access, because this time the properties and methods are protected. Right? And how to declare the protected member or protected method? Before the property name, we write 1_. Right. Sometimes we don't want property or any method of the class to be accessed by anybody, not even by the derived class also. Is it right? We do not want it to be accessed by anyone. So in those cases or under such circumstances, the classes have full liberty to declare their properties and methods as private. And how to declare a particular property as private property of the class? Simply by putting 2 underscores in the beginning. Is that clear? Okay, fine. Let me see in case if there is any questions in the chat box. Okay, good evening Parth. Thank you, I saw your message now. Alright, fine. Anyways, it's fine. I could find some of our very regular viewers and people who attend were missing since last 1 or 2 sessions. It's okay. The topic today is not connected to object-oriented programming. We brought object-oriented programming in 3 parts yesterday. So if you have missed out on it, please make a point that you watch the video, keep yourself updated. If you're not satisfied with the content in the video, explore more outside. Fine. We provide our best to give you as much as possible in this 1 hour session. आप उसके beyond जाकर भी explore करिए, वो आपकी जिम्मेदारी है, your responsibility. Alright, fine. Anyways, beginning with the topic to cover up today, something to learn, that is exception handling. Right? Remember one thing guys, exceptions in Python. Alright, exception, even in Java or you talk about any language that support exception handling, exceptions are always issue. Means it's not any feature. कोई अच्छा ही नहीं है. It's an issue. वो एक मुद्दा है. Alright, so exception is an issue. Exception is a problem which is to be handled by the code. But before we understand why exception makes the normal flow of the program abnormal, even prior to it, you have to first understand what are errors. Am I right? Errors. Within this 13-14 days of Python gone, we all are well aware of errors, right? एक दो बार तो आपने शायद Python पे हाथ दिया होगा. You might have tried executing at least 1 or 2 Python programs so far. Of course, more I'm expecting. This is just for my few of the viewers. Right? What is an error? Come on, this is Jupyter Lab open in front of you. Yes, Kalyana. Good evening to you too, Kalyana. Alright. Let me take a new cell. Okay. Here we go. Right. So suppose I say A equals 10 and I say print A, but I forget to write this closing bracket, and if I try to run, this is an error. Am I right? Okay. If I write if A is greater than 10, print A, that's again an error because this is a wrong termination or declaration of if statement, correct? So that's an invalid syntax, right? So errors are always those syntax issue, or let me say syntax error, which is caused by the programmer himself or herself. वो गलती जो हम खुद कर बैठते हैं. Sometimes you forget to give semicolon, sometimes you forget to declare colon, sometimes your parentheses are missing. If it is Python, most of the time our indentations go wrong. So if you go wrong this way in coding, that's called as an error. Look, my definition here on the screen. Errors are the problems in the program. Problems, my friend, ये वो problems होती है due to which program will stop the execution. Mind you, put up this point in mind. Program stops execution. Alright. For example, this is my code. Right. If A is greater than 10, print A, and say I'm printing one more statement after this. Say goodbye. But because error happened here or error occurred here at the end of if statement, people, ये goodbye तो कभी print होगा ही नहीं. Because program has stopped its execution forcefully or abnormally in between at the point of error occurrence. Correct? Check. हो सकता है error आने से पहले वाला कोई correct syntax print हो गया, like print hi. Okay, in the beginning print hi, in the end print by. So maybe hi might get printed, but no, sorry, this is not a valid print. Is that correct? Fine. So this is what is an error. Errors are those problems in the program due to which program stops the execution and it won't go ahead, right? But exceptions happens when, check it out, exceptions, we are not responsible for exception. This is the difference. Exceptions are also problems. Exceptions are also problem, but programmer is not responsible for that problem. It might take place due to some internal event. कुछ ऐसा internal issue हो गया program execute होते समय that it has to stop in between unconditionally or abnormally. Alright, fine. I give you one example. Look, say like this. A is equals to 10, and I say print A divided by 0. Now remember one thing. If I write A divided by 2, it will give me 5. Is it right? Because 10 divided by 2 is 5. Right? If I write A divided by 10, so it's going to give me 1 because 10 by 10 is 1. But mathematically, you cannot divide anything by 0. 0 upon A चलेगा. Numerator में अगर 0 है तो division valid है. But denominator में 0 is a wrong expression. We don't have any answer for that. We say infinity. Understood? We cannot divide anything by 0. That's algebraically wrong and it gives an error called as division by 0 error. So if I say run, you look, the program stopped abnormally and it says sorry, this is division by 0 error. Now you tell me, friends, all my viewers who are attending, आप लोग बताइए इसमें कहीं पर भी सिंटैक्स गलत था? नहीं था. Am I right? This is an exception. Alright, so exceptions are those internal events, internal circumstances that causes program to stop in between. Alright, take one more example. Say A is 10. A is 10 and I'm trying to convert A into let me say integer, or let me say string. Alright, A as string, and I say print A. Alright. Yep, so A is a string. If you check the data type of A now. Alright, I have to store back in A for that. Okay, so that's a string, right? I converted A into a string and I stored back in A. I printed A and also I'm printing the data type of A. It is showing me that it is a string. Is it clear? Now assume A is not 10. A is already a string called as Mumbai and you are trying to convert it into integer. It's a serious issue. समझ रहे आप क्या बात चल रही है? आप क्या कर रहे हो आप समझ रहे हैं? अरे A is a string. How can string be converted into number? Am I right? So if I say run, sorry, that's wrong. This is called as a value error. When we give wrong values as argument to any function. Alright, wrong value as an argument to the function. Now very honestly speaking, there is no error in a syntax here. Is it right? There was no error in anywhere while writing the syntax. So this is not a syntax error. This is not an error also. This is called as an exception. Right? जब प्रोग्रामर गलत नहीं होता है syntactically, मेरी तरफ से तो कोई कोलन नहीं छूट गया, कोई ब्रैकेट रह नहीं गया, सब बराबर ओपन हुआ, क्लोज हुआ, इंडेंटेशन इज राइट, arguments passed are right, expression is right. But this is an internal mathematical condition, or let me say some data type conversion condition. How can you convert Mumbai into a number? Mumbai cannot be converted into number. Alright, if it was like this, say like this, 4 or 5, this can be converted into number. Check. 5 which was declared as a string, I can convert into number. ये data convertible था. भाई सब बात समझ रहे हैं आप? ये डेटा कन्वर्टेबल था तो इंटीजर में कन्वर्ट हो सका. अरे बट मुंबई इज नॉट can be converted into an integer. Alright, but our agenda here is not to fight whether Mumbai is convertible or Mumbai is not convertible. This is to understand there is no syntax anywhere wrong in this code, but the program still failed. This is because of an exception that was called. Alright, please let's go through these 2 lines one more time. So errors are the problems in the program due to which problem will stop the execution. Exception happens when some internal events occur and changes the normal flow of the program. Okay, we might not be responsible to exception for some time, at most of the time. Alright, fine. Please acknowledge in the chat box. Are you understanding? Friends, the difference between error and exception understood. If you could keep acknowledging in the comment section, this would help us knowing that you are understanding. आपको समझ रहा है कि नहीं? ये हमारे लिए काफी काम की चीज हो जाएगी. Okay, fine. She'll be waiting for you. All right. Next. Now, there are different types of exception. Alright, there are different types of exception. I'll start from type error. Even syntax error is a type of exception. Type error means what? It's a data type error. The one which I showed you right now. See, it was shown here. यहाँ पर बता रहा था आपको. It's Mumbai, and I'm trying to convert it into integer. Acha, value error. Why value? I'll come to data type. Why value? Because you have passed in a wrong value to the argument of the function. Right? Now check what's a value error here. This exception is triggered, people. Okay, I repeat one more time. Value error. This exception is triggered when a function or method is called with invalid argument. Like string is expected and you are passing a number. Number is expected and you are passing a date. Date is expected and you are passing a boolean inside the round bracket of the function. So that's a value error. Right? Then sometimes there happens a name error. These are the different types of exception. Name error. Now what do you mean by name error? Check. I write print A, but instead of print I forgot to write T in the spelling of print, and I say run. I say run. Let me change. I don't want this part now. I don't want this part also. Okay, so this is a name error. Why? Because there is no function called as print found. Neither defined by you, ना आपने define किया है, ना किसी module में present है. Right? I want to import some modules. Say import math. If I say run, Okay, let me comment this. I don't want it. Alright, fine. So there was no error. But if I say like this, import mathematics, sorry, module not found error, correct? So that's called as either module error or module not found. These are the different types of exception. Exception क्यों बोला हमने इसको जरा बताइए? Because there was nowhere syntax wrong here, but this was an internal condition that sorry this module or package is not found. So ये exception है भाई. All right, fine. Okay, so एक हो गया name error, एक हो गया value error, एक हो गया type error if it is a mismatching data type. Alright, then there comes index error. Okay, index error. What do you mean by index error? Like this, check. I delete these all. Okay, I delete this all. Suppose A is a list 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. A is a list. What will be the length of this list? 5. Print length of this list, friends. For those who have forgotten list, tuple, dictionary, set, go to our videos before. Our prior videos, we have covered them very broadly. Understood? हर एक sequence को हमने काफी broadly cover किया है. Right? चलिए. So print the length of A and it says it is 5. So if length is 5, that means last index number will be 4. Index numbering starts from 0, so last index number will be 4. So if I say print A of 3, okay, index number 3 means element number 4, that is 40 will be printed. A of 2, third element, so 30 will be printed. A of 1, second element, so 20 will be printed. आपको नहीं समझ रहा है ना तो comment section में doubt लिख दीजिए please. I keep switching between different tabs. आपका doubt whenever I read I will answer that. Do not hesitate to do that. Please doubt लिख दीजिए. हो सकता है आपका doubt might be the doubt of others also. Right? But instead of 1, if I write here 8, guys, 8. 8 means what? Index number 8. That means element number 9 you want to say? Sorry, this is an index error. Index out of bound. Okay, this is an index out of range. Alright, fine. Then there comes division by 0 error, import error. Import error, people. This type of error comes, it's similar to module not found error. Some older versions of Python call it as an import error. Some new versions of Python call it as a module not found error. You're trying to import a package which is not available only. So that's an import error. Then there is something called as I/O, input output error. It's a worst kind of error. It happens while reading or writing a file and it fails due to an input output error. Maybe there was a crash in memory. अभी hard disk fail हो गया, उसमें हमारा क्या कसूर था? Is it right? RAM lagging हो रहा है या RAM fail हो गया तो भाई हमारा थोड़ी कोई कसूर था. So there was no syntax error. This was an internal issue. The buffer is full. Buffer full हो गया, जगह नहीं है, ये problem है, वो problem है. So that's called as an I/O error or I/O exception. Alright, fine. Any specific doubt from your side? Okay, nothing. Good. People are going on. Alright, now coming to the main point. Fine, people. Exceptions, one good thing about it. एक अच्छी बात उसके बारे में, exceptions can be handled. Errors cannot be. Error आपके हाथ में था. Error आपकी वजह से आया. Exception मेरे हाथ में नहीं था. Exception happened due to internal event or some triggered factor. Correct? तो error को control करना तो भाई आपके हाथ में था. Error आता है तो आपकी वजह से आता है. The developer, programmer. Because exception is beyond your control, Python provides you a feature called as how to handle this exception. Alright, my first important point for the session today. Exceptions in Python are handled using two keywords, try and except. Here it is. Check it out. Try and accept the statement. Right? How does it work? let me see how many of you understand in one go. कितने बच्चे आप में से quick समझते हैं? There is one block called as try. How we say if else, right? This is not if else. This is called as an try except. Totally different logic. हर try का at least एक except तो होना चाहिए. Right? Now before I could code, check if you can understand. Inside the try block, we write that code which is doubtful to throw an exception. Understood? हम वो code को लिखते हैं try block में, which may, there are chances it might throw an exception, or it might cause an exception. Got it? So such doubtful code goes into try block, and inside except we catch the exception. Is it right? That means we make sure that program doesn't stop abnormally due to exception. We will print a decent message instead of making Python to stop the program. देखिए कैसा, right? Come on. Statements that raise exceptions are coded in the try clause, and statements that handle the exceptions are written inside the except clause. Right? For example, check it out. For example, here we go. Let me check if there's any doubt. Okay, good. For example, right? Let me say like this. One moment, that is not working. ठीक है, here we go. Say A equals 10. Okay. Now I doubt whether any variable A or any value that A has can be divided by 0 or not. So I doubt. So what do I do? Let me say try. Colon means the block started. A divided by 0. Right? So this code was a doubtful code. Correct? Except in case if there is any exception caused by this code, so how to handle it? How to catch it? By printing this statement. Print, sorry, a number cannot be divided by 0 mathematically. Okay, try. Are you understanding? फाइन. ये काम अगर हमने ट्राई और एक्सेप्ट के बगैर किया होता, नो ट्राई, नो एक्सेप्ट, नथिंग, just print A divided by 0. So this is how it has made program to stop abnormally. Correct? तो हम हमारा मैसेज देकर उसको आगे कंटिन्यू करते रख सकते हैं like this, except, all right, run it. Okay, now what happens is, see, if I try to print here, print the end of the code or end of the program, let me call it as end of the program. Check. So even after this error was caused, the exception was caused, it was peacefully handled under except clause or except block. Right? इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि प्रोग्राम एक्सेप्शन की वजह से बीच में रुक गया. The flow of execution still went ahead. It was still continued by printing the end of program. Otherwise, if it was an exception not handled, इसको अगर हमने try except में handle नहीं किया होता, catch नहीं किया होता, so this line of code would have never executed because program would have stopped abnormally executing in between. Is it right? So the doubtful code will be made to enter inside the try block. And how to handle that exception, uska solution we will give it in except block. Are you understanding? Sometimes it happens, we doubt that code might generate different types of error. Right? For example, A is Mumbai. Right? पहली बात तो आप A को 0 से डिवाइड कर रहे हैं, वही गलत है. दूसरी बात, people string, A is a string. How can you divide string by 0? Division never happen upon the string. Is it right? Fine. So we can even call it like this. Let me say name of the error. In that case, we can write the name of the error. Say this one was what? Division by 0. Okay, if the exception is division by 0, so print this message. Alright, and if the exception is, say, value error, or let me say type error, data type error, so print you can't divide a string. Alright, let me check what happens. Not type error. Okay, let me write it as value error. Okay. 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 If I could write it other way up. If it happens, well. If it doesn't, we won't waste time. Okay, am I right? Fine. So I write what was happening in the earlier attempt then. Okay, the problem is what, check it out. Because I was writing type error later, okay, it wasn't getting executed. Check it out like this. Okay, because it was unable to find out where it is written. So let me catch this exception first, because that is happening first. Am I right? Division by 0 is happening there. Right, so let me write it first. Say type error. Okay, so there could be a type error. If it's a data type error, because it's a Mumbai and you're trying to divide Mumbai by 0, no, only integers can be divided by any other integer. Alright, division can be done by dividing one integer by another, not string by another integer, correct? So that's a type error. And another reason of exception could be it's a division by 0 error. So in that case, you can name the error if you doubt a particular code in the try block is going to cause more than one exception. I said you can't divide a string. Is that correct? Sorry, you cannot divide a string. Remember one thing, one try can handle only one, or can execute only one except. Alright, say after this try, once the exception has been caught, then it will come out of all the other exceptions. It won't check. And that's good. What is the need to check second exception, third exception also? एक एक्सेप्ट कैच कर लिया ना उसने एक ट्राई ब्लॉक, तो दूसरा एक्सेप्शन उसी के लिए आप वो कैच नहीं करेगा. Anyone. Hoping you understand. Even if for one try if you have written 10 different except, but the exception was caught at exception number 7, so it won't check for 8, 9 and 10. It will come out of that try except chain. Alright, hoping you are understanding. Right, so you cannot divide a string. Now there is a special there. Let me check if there is any doubt. Yes, Bipin. Okay, I read your message now. Good evening, my friend. Good evening. आपका message मैंने अभी पढ़ा. I'm sorry for that, guys. Now, hoping you are understanding. Kalyana, Parth, others who are here with us. Is this understood? Try with except. Try with multiple except. Right? Among multiple except, when one exception is caught, it won't go to check second and third exception. It will stop the try except block execution there. All of us. Acknowledge in the chat section, people. Comment section में please लिख कर बताइएगा जरूर आप समझ रहे हैं या नहीं. Right? Or if you have any doubt and you want me to explain that one more time. Okay, just a moment. I have some message here. Okay, no, done. Fine. Anyways, let's go ahead then. Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Fine. Now there is one more combination of try. You can use try this way as well. आप try को ऐसे भी use कर सकते हो. Let me say try, except and else. Okay, try, except and else. What does that mean? Right? For example, a divided by 0. Say a is 20. And I'm not dividing by 0. Or let me say, I say b is equal to int input enter a number. Is it right? And a is to be divided by b. Right? जिस नंबर से हमको a को डिवाइड करना है, जिस नंबर से हमें a को डिवाइड करना है, वो यूजर से इनपुट लेंगे. a is fixed, a is 20. b can be 1 also, b can be 2 also, b can be 200 also. Let user enter it. Right? अभी होगा क्या अगर यूजर ने b भी 20 लिख दिया, सॉरी b 0 लिख दिया, b0 लिख दिया, so that will be division by 0 error. But if b is not 0, so it is not division by 0 error. Correct? Run. What happened? I did go wrong somewhere. Try print a divided by b. Okay, I think one bracket is missing here. This was not closed properly. Right? So enter a number. Let me enter a number as 5. Okay. I entered the number as 5. What is it printing? Okay, a divided by b, that is, it is printing 4. Alright, it's printing, guys. Now suppose this time your try did not go into except block, first except block, second except block. Now suppose if there was none of these except block executed, you can write one else here. Else print no exception, or print a divided by b again, whatever you want. Right? So enter a number. Let me say 5. Is that correct? No exception. Alright, fine. Say I say no exception. We don't want it to be. Or maybe in this case we can do this way. Okay, नहीं चलेगा. एक बार कर दिया तो भी ठीक है, चलेगा. So print a divided by b. That is under try, but while doing that, if there's a type error, or let us do this way, c is equal to a divided by b. Right? Let me not print it directly in try. If there was no exception caused, only then we will print c. Alright, let's try this one. Enter a number 5. Yeah, this I think makes sense. Correct? बताइए क्या किया हमने? Those who have understood, tell me what we have done. Okay, we have declared AS20. The denominator we are accepting from the user. Enter a number. We are checking is there any data type error. No, user ने B को मुंबई तो ना enter कर दिया. Am I right? Enter a number बोला था, फिर भी उसने कोई string तो ना enter कर दिया, तो A divided by B will give us type error. B को 0 तो ना लिख दिया हो, so a divided by b will give us division by 0 error. Right? But type error भी नहीं है, division by 0 error भी नहीं है, तो in that case we can write an else. None of the error occurred, so else print c. Alright, this is called as try, except, else chain. So one is try, except. One is try with multiple except. Try, except, then comes try with multiple except. Then comes try, except, single except, or multiple except along with else. Right? Any doubt from your end? कोई चीज जो आप पूछना चाहते हैं? Sure. What about Kalyana? Kalyana, you're understanding or not? You did ask me once about exception handling. आपने एक बार पूछा था. That's the reason I called you today. Understanding try, except. See, try can handle not just one. We can put hundreds of lines of code inside the try block. Understood? Hundreds of lines of code. Sometimes when you see some developers coding, people have the habit, they don't code anything outside the try. Understood? हम अक्सर सारी चीजें try के अंदर ही कोड करते हैं. कोई भी चीज try के बाहर कोड करते ही नहीं है. This is just to keep ourselves safe. Try this code. If there is any exception that happens or it occurs, except will catch it and program execution will still continue. Alright, fine. There is one more thing to be studied here about. Okay, one was try, one was try except, one was try except else, and then comes the keyword finally. Okay, finally. Now what is the meaning of finally, or what is the use of finally? This block is guaranteed to execute always. ये हमेशा execute होता ही है, whether an exception was caught or it was not caught. It will always be executed. So if I write like this, finally, say print program ended. Program ended. I say run. Enter a number 5. Right? So exception was not caught this time because exception never happened. Is it right? क्योंकि exception हुआ ही नहीं, exception आया ही नहीं, ना type error था, nor there was a division by 0 error, nor there was a name error, nor there was any other kind of error. So that's the reason exception wasn't caught, or it was not generated as well. Is that clear? But this time, suppose if I say like this, run the program again, enter a number 0. So B will be assigned the value 0. Check. Enter a number and store it in B. And try dividing A by B and store the result in C. Correct? But now if you try dividing A by B, B is 0. This is going to give us division by 0 error. So check. Okay. What happened? There's something wrong here. Alright, it's executing. Okay, let me comment this part and let me write here directly 0. What happened? There's something wrong. Okay, there is something problem with my Jupyter notebook. If it doesn't, then I will copy this code and idle and paste it. Python idle. Never mind. Let me open idle quickly so that we don't waste our time. My problem I will troubleshoot later. Okay. Meanwhile, your questions, in case if any. GY, yes, no, it's clearing. Okay, Kalyan, thank you. One moment, for some reason my notebook isn't working. Let me copy the same code on idle prompt or in an idle Python idle editor. Okay, here we go. Alt F, new file, paste it. Save this file. Guys, you look, here we are. Now when I paste it into idle prompt, this kind of issues might happen in front of you. Okay, क्या हो रहा था? You see, in your notebook, that is Jupyter notebook, division by 0, the name of the exception was working. But in the Python idle, the division by 0 nahi, balki 0 division error is the name of the exception. Alright, anyways, let me run this. So basically what happened, sorry, a number cannot be divided by 0. Program ended. This was the else part, correct? But end of the program, this is nothing but finally block. So whether there is exception or there is not an exception, if you write finally, that block is guaranteed, it will always execute. Again to repeat, irrespective of exception was occurred or exception was handled or it was not. Right? So finally is a block which will always be executed. Alright, fine. Right? Now tell me, is there any question from your end to be asked? We started with what's an exception. Alright, raise your doubts in case if any. What is the difference between error and exception? So errors are generally those problems which are caused by the programs, which are ideally the syntax error. Alright, but exceptions, most of the time the developer is not the direct reason or the direct causer, let me say. It is due to some internal situations that they make program to halt abnormally. Correct? Different types of exception. There is a name error, there is key error. The key error means what? In a dictionary, if certain key is not found. Like this, check it out. So this is my dictionary, this is my dictionary. If you have forgotten dictionary, please go back to our older videos. Right? So D is equal to, say, name, colon, Iron Man. Genre or film. Movie is also Iron Man. Just for an example. Okay, now if I try to say print D of name, means what is the value of the key name? So it prints. I don't know why, there is something wrong here, so let me do one thing. I open a new Python terminal. Okay, fine, it was my mistake. Right? Name being a string as a key or key as a string, it needs to be enclosed in single quote. Right? So name is Iron Man. The film name or movie name is also fine, Iron Man. But if I say the duration of the movie, so that's called as key error. Means sorry, this key was not found. Okay, so if you doubt a particular code that is going to generate an error, tell me how to write except try here. So let's write try. Let's put this statement which is bound to produce an error in try block. Except print maybe key not, or let me say there is an issue. Okay, or there is a problem, instead of using that way, there is a problem. Correct. So run. Okay, there is a problem. Right? But if you want to handle only a particular exception, so we can write this way: key error, key not found. Okay, key not found. Am I right? That's called as a key error. Name error, you understood. Correct? Name error. In case if there is a spelling mistake, name of the method not found, name of the variable not found, and module error or import error, in case if you are trying to import a package but it is not found. Right? So any of these piece of code which is doubtful to produce an exception, we intend to write inside try. And how do we handle it? Under except. Alright. Fine. And then we went ahead with else part also. If none of the exceptions execute, then it goes into the else part. Is that correct? There is another concept or term with the exception handling, that is finally. Irrespective of whether exception were handled, they were caught or not, finally block in exception handling is always executed. Alright friends, okay. I think that's all with respect to exception handling today. Alright, fine. I'll see you back again tomorrow with most probably the topic that is regular expressions in Python. Right? हो सकता है most probably after tomorrow. Right? After tomorrow we will be having two connected lectures, that is for NumPys and Panda. Right? So for all those of my friends who are interested to learn about NumPy and Panda, they can join me. Alright, NumPy Panda is that will help you in understanding analytics better. Alright, fine. So see you back tomorrow. Till then, keep studying, keep watching, keep learning, explore more about Python, the topics that we have covered up, and even those that you were absent for. Okay, fine. Okay, spread the message of this bootcamp to others as well. Let them subscribe, and if you have really liked our work, then please like our entire video and the session. Okay, see you back tomorrow sharp at 6 p.m. Goodbye, take care.